Welcome to the stream. Hello, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Thank you, everybody, for the raid. That's crazy of you. You absolute bastard, Giddy. I knew that you were up to something when you said you were going to stay late and do karaoke on your stream, you absolute fuck. Anyway, we are here today with Mars. We've got Tats, we've got Katie, we've got Shen, we've got B, and we've got Stee. How is everybody doing today?
Super good. A little tired, but super good.
Okay.
How you doing?
I'll take it. I'll
Excited
take
for
it.
today.
Hey, I'm
All
doing
right.
great.
Ready to play D&D.
Hi.
Nice. Well, I'm ready to give you my new magnum opus. Honestly, the text document that I've created in Word for this campaign, we're not even at session 2 yet, and I've already got 11... Jesus fucking Christ, Lucy. We've got 11,000 words in my text document just for all of this. Oh, Shen, you just got gifted a sub. Right.
Oh wow.
Without further ado, we are going to begin. From merfolk of the churning oceans to giants beneath the rolling hills, authors have found tales to tell in the wonders of reality. But whose stories do they tell? Are these their own creations, or are they simply the last in a long line of historians retelling a diluted truth? Perhaps we should rewind the clock and return to a time before modernity. A time where dragons and monsters roamed the earth. A time of gods, fairies, and demons. A time before time. In a world such as this, how might fate's ink spill onto the pages of your life? How might an adventurer become a hero? Or perhaps a villain? In our retelling of these tales of gods, fairies, and monsters, we will discover where the ink falls for our adventuring party. But in which world do we find them? On this day, the seas roll and crash as tumultuous waves are sent high by a storm sent perhaps by the might of Odin himself. As the sky cracks, a bolt sent from above strikes a tree upon the shoreline. The green bark is split as new embers combine with the rain to smoulder this disfigured sapling. The smoke is blown low across the ground inland, where an aging minotaur, deep in their flasks, is awakened by the encroaching smell of burning. As he climbs and stumbles to the top of his narrow stone tower, his hooves slip on the salt and brine covering each flagstone step. He relights the beacon, which turns by arcane technology to guide sailors away from the rocks that many have surely died upon. The beacon, in its turning, stirs an old being in a dilapidated cowshed, where they turn away and pull a hardy blanket of dwarven creation to hide their shoulders from the whistling wind. We soar onward past hills burgeoning with funeral cairns, and the abandoned villages lost to wars past, where the dead under the hills still wander as wights. Their moans carry on the wind to the ears of an emaciated raven, as it moves on the breeze, seeking carrion for a much-needed meal. The raven keeps south as the night turns to day, and the sun's rays at last find the red wall mountain peaks, where a solitary worker squints as they lift their 15th pail of yak's milk. The raven's empty stomach shouts of need, as a caw falls from its beak to the ground below, where a mother fox, whose night of foraging has ended abruptly by a farmer protecting their flock of fowl. An arrow through the skull has terrified her cubs into fleeing from the line of farmland along the green waste forest, and deep into the city of Ironfront, where grocers awake, rejoicing this first day of the harvest. City guards return after relief of duty, as the morning shift continue their patrols in the outskirts to keep wild predators from attacking farm workers as they gather today's crops. Medics and clerics have joined to assist any who may fall to a stray arrow or blade in the often clumsy attempts at this protection detail. The ground shaking with their footfall is met with greater rumblings still, as a caravan of travellers arriving at Ironfront from the southern trail find their way to the city walls guided by a time-weathered man. The sounds and rumbles of activity echo along the ground until a wall of plant life in the Deshurga swamp shields those inside from the din. Deeper within the swamp, a slender, red-skinned teenager, has escaped his parents' hut as they slept. He breathes a sigh of mixed relief and elation as his clumsy footfall increases in speed. A place with jars and containers of colourful creatures just like him has caught his attention since he saw them. And the orange glow of the sky begins to awaken the council behind him, he gathers pace. His friends have dared him at last evening's supper, and he cannot just let words be words. An hour passes as a scream of anguish can be heard along the swamp, when the boy is found clammy and collapsed, having succeeded in releasing his intended quarry. The wheel of time turns on, as the day turns from morning through midday and further into dusk. As we move to a small camp being set up on the road north from Ironfront. An eventful day for a newly formed group of adventurers is finally drawing to a close, as the old man from the caravan builds a fire and asks the group, "How did you all meet each other? If you don't mind me saying, you seem like a group of misfits." Now, we're going to roll a d6 to determine who is going to go first with their flashback sequence. The way that this session is going to run, you've all already met each other. You're all already in a group together. We just have to find out whose flashback goes first. So I'm going to roll a d6, and I've got all of your names according to numbers in front of me. Let's see who goes first.
Alrighty.
Who's got their heart set on this? Who's got their heart set on going first, by the way?
Oh god, not me.
No? Nobody really wants it? Nobody really wants it. Okay. Well, I'm sorry to say then, in that case, Katie, would you like to describe your character, please?
Okay, my character is Briar. She is a cleric. She is wearing purple vestments, not quite heavy armor. She hasn't earned that yet. She has got bright white hair. Like, that is her defining character feature. And she's a little badass.
She is a little badass. So, Briar has been sent to gather some supplies from a local dealer in the city slums. Your father holds himself in too high a regard to sully himself in those areas, and he's busy today. It's the first day of harvest. He needs to be out and about. He needs to make a show of it. He's, a person of prestige. It takes a lot of work and a lot of public attention to maintain that prestige. So you need to go into the slums. We do so in Ironfront. Is there anything in particular that you are looking for? Is there anything in particular that you have on your mind as you go for these supplies?
I think I would be very wary of my surroundings and kind of nervous. But other than that, I would be looking for like plants and herbs and just like maybe some empty vials or something that I could store medicines in, or make potions like on the go.
There's quite a few places down here that I think you're quite familiar with. I reckon that Briar's father would be certainly the kind that sends her on missions a lot. Missions, quote unquote, basically errands, So you've probably gotten to know this area. But you've also probably gotten to know this area well enough to know to be careful. A lot of people would walk down here naively and not really understand that. You've got your head on your shoulders just well enough to know, don't fuck with people here because they will fuck with you back. So while you're out and about, give me a perception check. This will be the first roll of the campaign. For anybody watching who doesn't know, this all happens on Foundry on a digital table. We're all rolling in that, and we will tell you out loud what the numbers are. So, Briar just got a 21 perception check. That's a pretty good first roll, I've got to say. And in session 0, didn't you have the first nat 1 or something? Or were you the nat 20? I can't remember.
Probably.
Yeah.
I thought I was the first nat 20.
Yeah, I thought you were the first nat 20 in session 0, yeah. Just rolling, just checking it out, yeah. Which is crazy because in our last campaign that was not televised, so to speak, you had some amazing nat ones. Anyway, so with a perception check of a 21, you are headed down a street in Ironfront City. You find yourself in cobblestones and ruins. There are buildings around you that are dilapidated, that are falling to ruin and weather and time. The buildings around you are old brick, stone, wood built contraptions, but you know they're nothing pretty. They're there for utilitarian purposes and nothing really more. As you walk down this street, though, you see that there are two urchins that are lying in the gutter on the side, one of them over the other. And one turns towards you as you approach, seeing somebody in such fine dress, and says, "Please, please, all we need is some coin."
I will flick them, off the top of my thumb.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
1 silver.
I cut out for a second. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. Silver piece, thank you. I'm sorry. It's just my friend here. He's sick. He's very sick. The silver might get us some bread, but we need medics, and there's none of them around. Could you help him? He's probably not long for this world, honestly.
I can take a look. What are the symptoms? What's happening? What's going on?
We escaped something horrible up north, but it was just so bad. I got some magical affliction, and I don't know what it was. Something's draining me. I can feel it, like there's something in my bones that wants my life, but it's not taking it all yet, and I don't know what comes next. I don't want to. It's not time for me yet. Could I, please, anything you can give? I heard that the medics they'll work for 15 gold. If you've got 15 gold, I'll take it. I can't. Your silver's the only thing I've seen in days. We've been stuck here in days. We've not eaten. I've gone without food. He's got nothing. Please.
I can probably help in some way. I can try to heal, but I don't have much in the way of anything else. I've heard what's going on up north, and I haven't seen anything myself. But I'm in training. I'll try my best.
Whatever you can do, honestly, please. He's dying. The guy that's been speaking to you this whole time is the guy that sort of propped himself up over his friend. His friend's sort of breathing very shallow. Do you want to take a closer look?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you take a closer look, give me a medicine check. Just to see how well you can sort of ascertain these problems, this issue, this ailment. Oh, you did it twice, so we'll take the first one, because it came out first. That's a 22, a dirty 22. You're getting some good rolls. This is not the Katie that I'm used to. I think you've rigged this, but, never mind. Right, so, yeah, we with a 22 medicine check, you can see that there's like a trace of something red just underneath his shirt line. By his neck, you can see that he's got a jagged piece of cloth that's sort of been folded forwards over something else. And as you lift that cloth, you can see that there is a wound that has it's like a small nick of a blade has hit him somewhere just under like his floating rib on the left side, but it's not so bad that it killed him immediately, but you can see that there are long red tracing veins all the way across his skin, and you can see that the wound looks fetid. It's an awful pustulating thing. It does not look healthy at all. Honestly, on this assessment, you would be surprised that this man is still alive. If not for the pulse you can feel, you would doubt it.
That's a fairly significant affliction you have there. I can heal you a little bit, but you're gonna need to see, for lack of better word, a better cleric. I'm not sure I can handle this.
Okay. You perform your healing. You carry on towards your goal of finding the supplies that you need. They thank you in your leaving, and they take whatever healing magic you can offer. And we move now on to our next. Shall we say victim? No, that's not fair, is it?
Boy.
I'm evil. I'm an evil bastard. You should know this by now. You've had me for like what 30 sessions before. We roll the dice again. Okay. Anybody else in a particular need to go next? Any desire?
Roll right
Anybody
with the dice
really
decide.
wanting for it? Oh,
Not
nice.
particularly.
I love it when the dice decide. Right, well. Tats, would you like to describe your character for us?
Oh, I mean, I can do that. I can also show you if you're watching the multi-stream.
Yes,
am-
and I've brought it
I
up
am
online.
an Aarakocra. I am a druid. I have a bluish colored feather with like a greenish, almost like seafoam green tinge to the ends. The gem in the middle of my chest is my druidic focus, and it is a rough agate. And I'm just adorned with stuff that I've made myself. I also have
love
green
that.
eyes.
Well, Ash, you are surrounded by the wilds of nature. You've been lost from society for a while, but up until now, you have been on your own. At this point, someone stumbles upon you in a clearing, or rather you stumble upon them. There are a few of them, and they are wearing what you might ascertain to be helmets of some kind, but not the kind that you've seen before.
Right.
For the layperson seeing this as an objective observer, what you're seeing is workmen. They are speaking and pointing towards the trees, and you hear the rumble of something large, heavy, and arcane heading towards this clearing from far away.
Oh, well, that's not good.
What do? Do you approach these men?
I want to fly up and view from above because I can do that.
You can. As you fly up into the sky, you look down upon the Green Waste. The Green Waste, the name of this forest that sits just to the left of the Red Wall Mountains in the territory of Redwall. As you fly up, you see across the land. You see the storms to the north. You see the clouds striking trees and cairns alike as it travels south towards you. To the south, you see the long trail with the freshly churned mud from the approaching vehicles as they've arrived in the morning. And just beneath you, not far out, probably about 200 feet and closing slowly, you see the rumble and shake of machinery that is what you could almost swear looks like something very, very specialized towards uprooting trees.
Not my home, you fucks.
What is that? Come down from up there. I see you. I see
What are you
you.
doing to my home?
This is not your home. We have bought this land. It is our land.
You can't own land.
I own this. Well, my employer owns this. What do you want?
No. What do you want? This is my home.
I want you to fuck off.
I want you to eat dirt.
Well, sorry, I cannot eat dirt. I am elf, you know? We no eat dirt.
I mean, you could.
I mean, I probably could. Let's say yes, I could probably do that. It's not something that I'm about to do, though. How about you eat dirt and fuck off? Anyway, Roger, what were we saying?
I need to get these guys off my land.
You can try. You can certainly try. Listen, if you have problem, you take up with council. Council in Ironfront, that's where I get instruction. They agree, we get permit, we allow here. We take down tree, we build. Yes? No.
No.
Get out.
I swear to all that is holy.
Give me an intimidation check. This will be your first roll of the campaign. With a 9, he is very unimpressed. You try and make yourself look like a hawk in the air. You know how a lot of birds are able to mimic the shapes and flight paths of other birds to scare off prey and stuff and make them, like, you know, do what they need to do or get away from them. In this case, he sees right through it. Listen, I know you are a bird. It make no difference. You fuck off, bird. You fly, yes? I see you can fly. You have feather, you fuck off. Feather boy, get out.
I am not a boy.
Oh, I am very sorry. Listen, Roger, you speak with them. I apologize. I am very sorry. I do not mean offense. I sorry. He steps over to one side. Listen, Herbert is a fool. Hey, you shut up. I am no fool. Hey, you shut up. You are fool. Anyway, Herbert is fool. Look, if you want us to stop, we cannot stop. The only way is to go to Ironfront and speak with council. I can tell you where council will be.
Can you at least not do anything while I'm gone?
Give me a persuasion check. 11 is more reasonable. Let me give them an insight check to see they get an 18. Listen, I can maybe say we take break now. I cannot say anymore. What are you talking about? We cannot take break. We only just get here. We start. It is morning. It is dawn. We speak. We do this now.
How would you feel if I came to your home and started destroying it?
Yeah. You speak with your beak very good when you're up there. You don't speak when you're down here speaking to me. Hey, how about you
Fly down
about
there.
face and you? Oh yes, you will. Oh, I see how it is. Roger, hold my cane. As this continues, you get through this whole discussion and discover that yes, they will hold off the work, but it will only be held off for an hour at the most. That's as much union time that they get for a break, and you're going to need to go into Ironfront to speak with somebody.
I guess I'm going to Ironfront to speak with somebody. Who am I speaking with?
You are looking for a council member by the name of Danik Druffel.
Okay. Making notes.
As you make your way over to this council member's office in the center of the city, you find that they are out for the day. Their receptionist points you towards their waiting room. Their waiting room, heavy quotes, is not in fact a waiting room, it's just their office. And as you are sat there, you see something on their desk waiting in just, open view. It has the letters DASH on it.
It says dash.
Yes. It has a bunch of other writing underneath it, but essentially it's like that and then an address, and they've left. They're not here. The receptionist calls out to you. Sorry, dearie. Danik's normally back after maybe half an hour. He's got something that he goes to at this time. Don't worry about it, dearie. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. It'll be all right.
They're destroying my home.
Oh, I mean, I know the sort of basic idea where he is, and they mentioned the name of a street, and it matches the street name that you've seen on this little piece of paper.
I grumble as I walk out. Well, that's a nice howdy do.
Okay, and that is the end of this flashback sequence for you. Thank you very much. You head off in the direction of this street, I assume. Now, let's find out who goes next. Let's see, who have we got? That actually rolled Katie again. We've already introduced ourselves to Briar. So we'll roll again, and instead, B. How are you feeling about describing your character?
Hello. I'll happily go ahead. So, This is Ruby Morning, known as Ruby. So you'll see a fairly tall, broad tabaxi, female tabaxi, with sort of tiger print, which maybe is a bit paler than you'd anticipate for a standard tiger, and maybe the odd rosettes thrown in just for fun. Her clothes, well, she's sort of wearing a lot of wraps, which, as a monk would not be necessarily unexpected. But the fabric doesn't necessarily seem to be of the best quality. Maybe a little bit more of a found fabric, a found material. But that doesn't stop her wearing what she's wearing with great pride and maintaining her appearance as well as she can do.
I love that.
True monk style, has her wrists and ankles wrapped. So she's
Well,
very free.
Ruby, as you have just gotten back to the dairy plant that you work at. By the way, this place is known as Deer Dairy. This is up on the Redwall Mountain peaks, and you I came up with that one myself. Thank you very much. This is up on the Redwall Mountain peaks, the mountains that split this world sort of down the middle. Very long mountain range of red stone mountains, where the workers here collect yak's milk. There's very little in the way of work. It's essentially just milk a yak every so often and throw it into the pot, since most of it gets watered down anyway. The person that takes care of you and of the other, shall we say, the other people within here with you, they go by the name of Crimson. You have just returned back from a job that you've just taken to the west, where you came back from Corelva, the territory over there, which is by and large populated by wolfkin people, which are humanoid wolf people, not werewolves. We must make that distinction. As you've just returned from there, you have delivered something to the Footpad tribe. The Footpad tribe, a nomadic tribe. You are exhausted because they are nomadic. There's no delivery address. How are you supposed to find a nomad tribe to deliver something to them? Can you imagine how hard that would be if you were, Amazon delivery driver and it's just somebody who just wanders the earth? Very difficult. Well, you've arrived back and you are exhausted from your travels. You've not rested because you wanted to get back here to help protect and to help train in some ways. And as you get here, you see that Crimson and Berg, the two people that you know best from here, the two caretakers, so to speak, are deep in conversation with each other. As they see you, Crimson turns and regards you. Berg sort of nods in your direction and then walks off. Bye, Ruby. As they walk off. Crimson, on the other hand, turns and says, I hope you don't mind, but the other trainees, we've run out of some construction material. You need to get going on the yaks. You know how it is. It's like I've already done probably about 30 pails of milk. There's so much more to do. I wondered whether perhaps you wouldn't mind, since we're low on the breaking of bricks and all that. It's like when these youngsters get it in their head that they need to break bricks. Well, we need bricks. So I wondered, there's a bunch of those old quarry boulders outside. I wondered if you wouldn't mind going and breaking some of them down. I know you're very tired. I just can't stop. I'm sorry. Is it okay? Please be okay with that.
Please, please be okay with that. Well, yeah. Oh,
Thank you.
Oh,
I will take this. So I owe you one. You remember multiple times beyond count when they've owed you one, and you've still not collected on that. So Crimson gets to doing some yak milking over by the yak holders. Berg is headed downstairs. and then shortly after that heads off and just leaves the place altogether. And you are left to your devices. By the way, just for if you are viewing the battle map from Tats's stream, this is Berg, and for those in my stream, this is Berg. And
Thank you.
there you go. And Crimson is this person. Boom.
Very cool.
So yeah, those are your two peeps. As you head outside, you see that there's a bunch of boulders there, ready for you to break them down. Do you just go striking at them? If so, give me an attack roll.
Right. I'm gonna have
Someone
a
in my
big
chat
stretch.
said thank you.
Big stretch.
I'm gonna have a big stretch first.
Love a big stretch.
Take a deep breath.
Yeah,
Try
center
and
yourself.
zone myself back in, and then have at these boulders to break them down.
Love that.
So what was it? I was
You need to give me an attack roll, please.
on
Let me
attack
just
roll.
move you outside to
Lovely.
where the boulders are. Berg has buggered off.
Double checking.
Crimson has buggered off. To do their
Is it
bits.
/R or R/?
It will be on your character sheet. You go into inventory and just do unarmed strike. Or if you want to do it with your quarterstaff, you can do that. Just click on the icon.
Let me do an unarmed strike. There we go.
You're gonna punch the boulder as hard as you possibly can, and with a 12,
Really
yeah. You know what? The boulder, it's not going anywhere, and it doesn't have any armor, so you can pretty much hit it however you please. You do so, and you get some damage on this thing. Now, while you are working on this, you feel that the sun is starting to raise. It's hitting you with all those hot rays, and up here in the mountain peaks, it's hard to get away from the heat of the sun. It's thin air up here, so it's hard work when you're moving and striking at boulders with such ferocity. But you're used to it up to a point. Unfortunately, in this case, you've already arrived pretty exhausted, and you feel the need to have a bit of a rest after a couple of hours of this. Whereabouts do you lay your head down to rest?
So I'm trying to think if there's any vague amount of shade out here, or
there would
just
be sort of under the
lying down.
parapets. It's like there's like shade underneath the sort of like circular like tower crenellations, I guess you might call them, or whatever it's
Yeah.
called. So
thinking
yeah,
if
you
I
could probably
just
hide under them.
slump down and sit with my back against that in the shade and just
Nice.
try and get a little bit of relief.
You feel the
from
cool
the
stone
sun.
against your back. You feel that the sun is just starting to tickle your toes as it moves a little bit further out, and the midday moves into the afternoon. And you close your eyes to rest. Before long, you hear a voice off to the side. Hello, you seem very strong. Have you been working on those boulders?
Who's asking?
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that. I'm more impressed by you. You're a very impressive creature. Has anybody ever complimented you on your prowess? I know that it's not exactly martial arts when they can't move, you know, the boulders. But it's very impressive. You've got a brilliant physique about you.
I'm gonna try and stretch up a bit from being sat down to try and take clock of this person.
You try and look in their direction. All that you can see is a dark shape in your sort of periphery.
Okay.
It's hard to see. There's the sun, there's shade. You're just coming up from a slumber. It's difficult to make them out, really.
Well, when it comes to hitting boulders, can't say whether much skill is involved, but I Will always appreciate someone offering a compliment.
Oh, you're very skilled, I
Thank you.
must say. I'm very impressed. All I can do is offer you something more than what you've got right now. Would that maybe work for you? You seem, pardon me for saying, I love the outfit you're wearing, but it doesn't scream of riches. Is that fair to say? I think that you might be able to get something more for yourself. You're a very capable person. Have you ever
I seem
considered
to
doing
have
something for more than yourself? For others, perhaps?
considered doing something more than for myself.
Aye.
Why do you think I am currently doing anything for myself if you are suggesting my clothes do not
Well,
demonstrate riches?
keeping this place here is probably done so by breaking of boulders, might I say. The people inside, they sort of, you feel them nod towards you in that little sort of vagary that they're stood in. I have a feeling that you do this to keep your place here, and that you're anxious about being removed if you don't. I don't mean to speak out of turn, Lovey. It's just that I have a feeling that perhaps this is more about self preservation than it is about making a grand difference in the world.
Use a lot of large words and to try and quite perceive what's happening for me. You seem to have summed me up in your mind, so
Oh, I know
do
you
it. You're
quite
trying to offer
well.
me something.
I know you
What do
quite
you mean
well.
by that?
I have a, shall we say, a vested interest, and I would be very, very happy. I would be very pleased if you would help me in my endeavours. What do you say?
As soon as they said they know me well and have a vested interest, I'm going to try and move away from where I'm stood to approach this person and get a
You,
better
yeah,
view of
you.
them.
As you move, you sort of sense them in your peripheral vision as well.
Hmm.
You sort of move off towards the entrance or down a trail, I assume. Where are you headed?
Um, yes, just towards. I'm just trying to think wherever would give me the best view of them. I just want to
Hmm.
not have them as just a black shape anymore. I want to know who they are or what they are.
Okay. So you sort of trying to make them out.
Yes, yeah, trying to
Okay.
get an assessment of them. Yeah.
You head out into sort of sunnier area, away from the building, away from the shadow and the shade. Uh,
Hmm.
they don't really clarify in your eyes or even in your mind's eye. It's sort of still just this amorphous shape in your peripheral vision, just a dark thing. But they continue talking to you nonetheless. Oh, I am very impressed by what you've been capable of doing. I must say you are a very capable person. The only thing that I would say is that perhaps you're not quite ready, as with dairy. A good cheese, perhaps. Maybe that's a good analogy that you may understand. They they need time and age to become better, more sort of, I don't know, uh, flavorful. I want you to be flavorful, if that makes sense. Get you some experience, get you some battle experience, and then when you've had time and you've experienced enough in this world to become stronger, then I think perhaps you can come and help me in my endeavours. You've not even asked what I'm after. There's plenty going on in this world that is more than just give and take. And of course, with give and take, I would be accepting your help, but I would give you what you want as well. Whatever it is you desire.
As someone who seems to know so much about me, I almost anticipate you'd know what I'd want, but I
I
can't
know
deny.
very much what you want, Miss Morning. Make no mistake
Mm.
about that. But of course, I'm not here in a menacing way. I am here to try and broaden your horizons. How about we start with a friendly pat on the back? You feel sort of a cold hand touch somewhere. You couldn't really place it. It feels like it's not even really there.
Okay. So I'll just take in everything they've said and accept that punching boulders isn't necessarily how I want to spend my time after going off and trying to find a nomadic wolffolk pack. So I'll. Okay. I can't deny that honing my skills in a way that is not punching boulders would be more desirable. Are you sending me anywhere potentially less cold or
All I
what?
would say, my dear Ruby, is where are your friends? And as they say that, you wake up and you are in the shade underneath the parapet of the building, back where you were before you stood up and walked. And with that, we're going to move on to the next person. Okie dokie. Next in line, we have... Oh, we've got... Mars. How are you feeling about explaining or introducing your character to us, please?
Okay. My character here is Alandressa, and they are a half Eladrin, and half dragon. They have a draconic bloodline, that gives them that mix. And they're a sorcerer, and they happen to love frogs, because they like things that are toxic and poisonous.
Love that. In the early hours of the morning, what do you think that Aldrin would be doing? Do you think that you would be resting, or do you think that you would be out in the wilds trying to find another frog? I guess that, early hours of the
Probably
morning where it's sort of...
searching frog.
Yeah, like dewy and moist, and there's still moisture on the air from the night time. I would assume that that's the best time for a frog.
Yay.
Yeah.
Definitely frog catching.
As you have spent your morning hours out collecting a frog, what kind of frog do you think you've got?
Probably would have found another a poisoned art frog, perhaps, is what they're trying to collect.
Love that.
Or some kind of other little frog that they haven't found yet.
Absolutely love that. Well, as you return back with your new frog buddy, that's not a foreign word, by the way. I'm just literally saying frog. As you head back with your little frog, you see that there is some commotion near your hut, your settlement. There's 3 people stood over there, and another person stood expecting your return as you get there. On your arrival back, Merle, who is one of the female Elder Council members, spots your arrival and stops you just in time to speak to you. Oh, Aldrin, maybe perhaps don't, maybe just don't go over there. Maybe don't go over there.
Who are they?
You look over and you see that there is another Elder Council member by the name of Tiberius, and just through the opening to your hut, you see that there is a small teenager with red skin, and there is his mother. The small teenager with the red skin, you've probably observed from afar. You've been on the outskirts of civilization, but you've been there for long enough to have observed the comings and goings of the people within the village that you sort of, should we say, no longer frequent. You know that they are Curtis and Kentar. Curtis being the teenager.
Curtis and Kentar.
Yeah.
Alright.
Logbrock and So it's Curtis Lavberg and Kentar Logbrock. Kentar is his mother.
Okay. Is everything all right with them?
They,
Why are they in my
She sort of
office?
squints and holds a hand up, looking like she's trying to find the words. Well, her wrinkles seem to, like, furrow and get even deeper, like she's frowning upon a frown upon a frown. Oh, let's see how to say this. Curtis has found one of your friends while you were away, and he has tried to release the friend so that he could say hello to the friend, and unfortunately has fallen afoul. I think you know what I'm saying. The only thing that is the problem with this, I suppose, is that, well, you know what Tiberius is like. He doesn't like you. He's wanted you gone for a long time, and he has seen this as his biggest moment to sort of have you gone.
Uh-huh. I see. Can I collect my frogs?
I would say it's probably a good idea, yes. Thinking about it, do you have any kind of antidote? I imagine you must have worked on some in your time.
Well, depending on the frog, I could mix one up. Do you know which frog it was?
Oh,
You
I'm
know,
not
they're all a little
sure.
different, so that's kind of important.
I think as he fell, he knocked a few jars, and they may have... Yes, there may be one or two loose.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure. You look over and you can see shadows of little frog bodies on the insides of the, like, sort of drapes for your tent.
I see.
Like,
I
tent or
can
covering for windows, yeah.
see which containers are empty, and
Yeah, so
try and figure it out from there.
Do you want to do this in secret so that they don't see you, or do you want to just approach and be open about this?
I think at first we'll try and take a peek without alerting Captain Cranky Pants.
Lovely. So you try and take a look from over here. Give me a perception check at disadvantage. You're looking in through a shrouded window in the early hours of the morning from a distance. Even with elven, senses, you can still only see so much. With disadvantage.
Yep.
So
I realized that was rolled incorrectly.
Yeah. So that's a nat 20. And now we're going to click the disadvantage, and you get an 18. So even at disadvantage, you can see that there is one particular blue fellow that seems to have latched onto Curtis's hand and left his particular blue sort of frog print, shall we say, on the hand. You can tell that from here. He's sort of stumbled and fallen with his hand sort of just over the doorway where you can see it from here. But yeah, they have done this. To know any more, you would need to do a medicine check at his side.
Alright. Aldred's gonna step forward and make themselves known. And just sort of enter the space and be like,
cool.
Hello, I'm here to help.
I'll just move you over. Tiberius turns and has what looks like the sternest look on a face that you've probably ever seen. Why are you still here? You and your kin, should we say? You have killed this young boy. Kentar shouts out.
I'm here to try and help save him.
Kentar shouts out in
I would also
a scream
like
from
to
inside.
just collect my frogs before I go, so that they are no longer here to bother you.
Kentar shouts out a yelp from inside. Dead? He's not dead, is he?
No, he's not dead.
Merle rushes over, just wading through the swamp water at this point. You can see that she's got... You know her well enough. She's one of the ones that's kind of sympathetic to you. It's okay. It's okay. Tiberius, it's all right. They were just leaving. They're just going to get their things, and it's all right. They're just going to get their things. It's all right. Look, Maybe I help you. Maybe I help you. Together, you go through the hut. You gather all of your belongings. You gather what frogs you can in whatever empty jars you still have, and the rest, I suppose, you place onto your shoulders. This sympathetic person, this Merle, says, "Look, I've, you know me. I've been around in this village as long as you have. I may not be of the same stock. You certainly don't look your age." She sort of smiles and then, forgets herself and sort of goes back to looking worried. Look, I have this place that I think that you might do well at. I've been meaning to sort of bring it up to you, but up until now we've not really had a need, should we say? I think that this may have just sort of precipitated that time. Look, over at the city of Ironfront, you should know that, you've been there. There's a place there that I want you to seek and look out for. It's called Dash. Maybe go and take a look. Maybe that might help. I don't know.
But did you want me to try and make an antidote for the kid?
Do a medicine check. Give me a medicine check. While you're sort of stood this sort of 20-foot distance, you might just be able to get a better view of this. And with a 10, you can tell that it's a venom of some kind from a topical contact, to touch contact frog. You couldn't really 100% be sure of it. You do know that the Dawnheart family are particularly good medics and that they also reside in Ironfront, but you have not really had much dealings with them because usually you sort of deal with yourself. I assume that you head off to Dash.
Yep.
Okay. That's the end of your introduction. Thank you very much. Now, it's just sort of a 50-50, isn't it, for who goes next? Should we say odds we go for Shen, and evens we go for Stee?
Even Stevens, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's very much what I'm saying. I stumbled into that one as a mistake. It still works out. Right. So, in actual fact, it is you, Steve. Would you care to introduce your character?
Look at that.
You see a average height fellow with he has vitiligo, so he has like a mix of like a sky blue and like a kind of dark greeny blue skin. He has a slight underbite because he's half orc. He wears all kind of green. It's almost like a suit with a long coat. It looks from a distance, it looks as though he's well dressed, but if you look closer, it's a little threadbare, so it's as though he wears it all the time. And he has like an unbuttoned shirt and a purple neckerchief, and carries a curved sword at his hip.
I love that. Right, so, Victor, you have been off on an investigation of your own. You've been sent by your employer, the company that you work for, Big Bad Bacon Inc. The boss there, your manager, who is the sub-manager to the main guy, or woman, should we say. They have sent you off on an investigation to find out why the funds have been going missing from the community pot. In your investigations, you have found that it was one of the... it was essentially just a very frail woman of very little income who had a sick child in need of healthcare. They were taking money so that they could try and help their child because, unfortunately, the wages are not enough and the benefits don't cover it either. What do you think that Victor's response to that would be? Do you think that he would give that information over to the manager, or do you think that he would say, "I'm sorry, I couldn't figure it out," or what else?
I think he would first of all try and decipher whether she was being forthright with him.
So you can give me an insight check.
Sure. Where am I? Let me just find my insight.
A 6.
Ooh, okay.
A 6 insight, even with a 6 insight, you could tell she's not showing the basic signs of somebody who is lying. You know, there's no eye twitch, there's no looking off to one side, there's no intense eye contact. She's caring for her child while you're talking to her, and she's taken this money, and she looks sort of relieved that the worst is over, but there's still more to come, and she's not particularly happy or relieved at the idea of being, thrown to the guards. But for the time being, she seems to, sort of be doing okay.
Okay.
Do you have an image of them?
This woman, no.
Okay.
I think upon returning, Victor would have an intention to not tell the truth, basically, to cover for this woman and cook up a different story.
I like that. You tell your manager, who takes that information in a sort of dour sort of mood. I think you know your manager well enough. He likes the whip. He doesn't like the carrot so much. He's more on the side of things of you are lucky to have this job. If you don't do it right, then we'll deal with that. There are plenty of people in this world who are struggling for money. Anybody would have your job. You're not special. That's the kind of manager that he is. However, while you're having this conversation with him out on the shop floor, you gain the attention of Big Red, the person who was once known as Little Red Riding Hood, a very tall, very broad tabaxi with tiger patterning. Big Red calls you up to her office. Do you go?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just
Can
for
I
everybody.
ascertain whether her demeanor, as she calls me, does she look?
Sure.
Does she look?
You can do another. You can do an insight check if you like. She doesn't look particularly pissed from the outset. That's a nat 20. You can tell immediately upon looking at her, she is impressed by you. And for those who are looking on Foundry or in Tats's stream, this is what Big Red looks like. And for those in my own stream, this is what Big Red looks like. So yeah, this is Big Red. She's very encouraging when you walk in, and as you come up the stairs and you make your way up to her office, you see that there is lavish carpeting, a big rug that looks like it's got tiger stripes on it as well, sort of mirror her pattern. As you walk through the door into her office, which overlooks the work floor below, where a lot of sort of factory meat and things like that are all processed and worked on, and there's a lot of offal gets thrown and a lot of other stuff gets thrown. But Big Red is a very well-celebrated person. Big Red is known, has a reputation, and is one of those stalwart sort of business magnates within this city and within the world itself. Certainly one of those stronger figureheads that you've heard of around Redwall, and basically everybody would have. Big Red sees you walk in, and they're just so impressed by you. Big Red comes out. Oh, hello! Come in.
Good evening, boss. May I sit?
Oh, of course. Please do. I tell you what. I'll sit with you. And Big Red comes and sits down on one of the couches and invites you to sit on the couch near them, but not next to them.
Okay. I perch, just kind of on the edge, sideways, keeping my eyes on them.
I like it. I like it. I like your approach. You're very sort of pointing with the finger. You're very clever. You know that. Look, this business seems to sort of run itself sometimes. I don't really need to do much. What I do, however, is, to be honest, quite a lot of sleeping behind the desk. You remember times that you've seen their paws sort of sticking out and a snore being heard. There's really not a lot that this person does. People buy bacon. It's as simple as that. Bacon is one of those things that just falls off the shelves. Look. I know that there's not a lot that we really do around here. There's just there's something that I think that you in particular would be good at. I saw your judgment. I could tell that you are a person of discerning nature. You obviously didn't tell Roy the real truth, and I'm good with that. I'd much rather that money go to our workers' children. A loyal worker is a hard worker. I always say. Now we've got other business dealings elsewhere. And I know that you are particularly good at figuring out the truth from the filth, shall we say. Now, I would really like it if you could go and speak for me to the Snow Queen over at Highfall. I know, you've probably not heard of them. She's new in power, but yeah, there's the fact that she's now in power means that we have the opportunity to sell our bacon overseas. And well, you know, it's sort of overseas. Listen at me. It's a very cold climate over there. So I think that they would very much like the bacon because it would sort of preserve well on the journey, wouldn't it? You know. So we don't need to worry so much about the heat as we do here. What do you say? You go and speak to the Snow Queen for me?
Happy to do this.
I knew you would. I knew you would. She gets up and she gives you a very strong pat on the back. Like you feel almost like the claws are coming out with this smack. But yeah, you feel the wind knocked out of you.
This happens. Like he drops the coin he's been nervously fiddling with.
Yeah. Is that sorry, what
It's okay,
what
it's just a coin, it's just a keepsake. I fidget when I'm nervous, don't worry. Anyway, he picks it up and he stands up and tries to kind of brush himself down.
You see Big Red recoils when you go to collect it. Give me an insight check.
This one would be the natural 20 that I'd want, wouldn't it?
This would have wanted to be the natural 20 that you wanted. Yeah, Big Red is just uncomfortable around this. I don't know why. They just seem very shaken. But yeah, they've made notice of it. And they've sort of stepped back away from you to make some distance. I'm ever so sorry. I lost myself there. Look, I just wish for you to have a pleasant time. Please do your best. I know you will. So
he smiles and nods. No need to apologize, please.
We'll zoom ahead so that we get to the Snow Queen. You have travelled long and far. You've gone for weeks now. You've taken the coin purse that they offered you at the desk so that you could find your way to some safe travel because, you know, it doesn't look good for a business for you to be thumbing a ride the whole way there. You've got to arrive in some relative style, even if you're a representative of a business. You arrive at the Snow Queen's palace, and you see that in some ways it's very much under construction. You're sort of looking at something that is frozen tundra that's just had a building sort of thrown into the middle of it. But yeah, you are stood in sort of an entrance hall, and there's nobody there to say hello. Nobody has greeted you. It sounds sort of empty, but you've not made a step foot towards the larger building yet. It's up to you what you want to do from here.
Okay, so I'm in a smaller building for now, sorry, just to clarify.
Yes. You're in sort of like an outer building, but there's a larger palace that seems to be under construction a little bit further to the west of you.
Oh, okay. I think he would pay kind of backwards and forwards and wait for a while, looking not on edge, but as though he's on guard.
After a while,
makes sense,
you
yeah.
hear a very
And then
shrill.
after a while, he would.
Yeah, you hear a very shrill voice come sort of echoing through the tundra. Come in!
You had cut out some.
Oh, that was a come in,
sorry,
but
yeah.
a very, very high-pitched come in. That's
Okay, cool.
Discord being a bitch. Discord does not
Yeah.
like people to say things in high pitch.
No,
Yeah,
Discord
yeah.
just doesn't like you being loud.
But like the come in, that's what you get. So you got that shouted. Do you approach the palace?
I shall. Yes.
Okay. As you enter through the palace doors, you see that there is a great deal of construction going on here. The floor is made of packed ice. The pillars are made of ice. There are lanterns in front of you. Ice. There's chests. Ice. There's a table. Ice. There's even a bed over in the corner that's sort of, like when someone moves in to an apartment, they just sort of throw their mattress on the floor. That's the kind of thing that you're seeing over there.
Mm-hmm.
That, in actual fact, silky sheets, but with a frosting of ice. The sort of the windows, they're all formed into lovely fractal shapes that sort of match the angles and geometry of a snowflake, and everything in front of you that you see, beside the silk sheets, is all made of ice. The only thing that you see in front of you that does not look like ice is the Snow Queen herself. She is a very pale individual who stands sort of 5'8", 5'10", very sort of slender, wears an ice crown and has a heart coming down the face. They are wearing a sort of pendant around the neck, and they're wearing silk gloves. The gloves, however, look like they're a bit dirty, shall we say. She's also not wearing any footwear. As she stands upon the massive sort of contraption above you, this huge sort of ramped seating arrangement where she's sat on a throne of ice, she looks down upon you. Well?
Is she pulling this kind of face as she looks down at me?
Yeah, she's sort of got a bit of a resting bitch face, yeah.
Okay, cool. Would I know the correct kind of way to bow to this person?
Give me a history check. We'll say 15 or above, and you do.
Let's do it.
15! You hit it exactly.
Alright.
Yes, you know the correct way to bow to this person.
Okay, then I somewhat belligerently, politely nod my head, and that's all she's getting.
She looks down upon you. She gives you no idea of what's going through her head. She's just sort of looks at you. Well, what are you here for? You here to congratulate me on being the queen?
I mean, first of all, sure. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I will accept your congratulations. Do you have a gift?
He doesn't carry a lot with him, so he thinks and kind of pats his pockets and looks at her and he's like, "I'm terribly sorry. I must have dropped it on the way here."
Oh, don't worry. There's plenty more besides. She points over with her sort of sooty glove towards the corner where you see that there is nothing in the corner. She's sort of, not quite all with it. And yeah, you have a conversation with her about Big Bad Bacon. During this conversation, you have a lovely discussion, a rousing discussion about how bacon is the spice of life, so to speak. She has her cons for that of, well, surely we need to cook the bacon. This is a frozen tundra. How do you expect us to get the fire? And this sort of back and forth goes on, and eventually you come to an agreement, and you head back to Ironfront. Now, we have our final victim for their first flashback. Shen, would you like to describe your character?
I'll do my best. Hello. Her name is Isabel, and she's a human. I know, so original. And she wears a purple dress and has a grey short coat thing with one sleeve ripped off. And she carries a book bag with one singular book that she hopes to keep trading in order to keep reading more books. And she carries an axe engraved with moons on it.
Love that. So, Shen, your father has been missing for a few days, but that's not very abnormal for him. He often goes off, but he always comes back safe. It's not the kind of thing that you would immediately be worried about. Only on this occasion, there's little food in the pantry. So today, you have gone out to see the Howlers. However, when you've gotten there, you see that the group leader and the elders and the adults are all gone. They've gone out, but they've latched the building. Unfortunately, as you arrive, I guess in your barbarian ways, or maybe perhaps you were heading a book and wasn't paying attention, the latch that you have opened has broken. The latch that was keeping the young ones from leaving. They are in need of encouragement, heavy air quotes, to keep them in place so that they don't wander off into the street and get caught. What do you think would be your go-to plan here?
Are they trying to leave at the moment?
Yes.
I do the simplest thing a barbarian could do. I just take up my axe, slam the base of it on the floor, and say, "You're not going anywhere."
Grin, who is the 15-year-old girl, she's a wolfkin. They're all wolfkin. They're all from the Footpad tribe, come over to become Howlers. So Grin is this 15-year-old girl. Wolfkin tend to mature at the age of 16, so she's sort of starting to have airs and graces, starting to pretend to be an adult, even though she's not yet. And, you know, Wolfkin can live to be like 800 years old, so 15 really is not the be-all and end-all. But as she stands in front of you, she puts a hand on the hip, and she sort of like gives you that half-lidded look of, really? You're going to try and stop us with an axe? She, with that look, she backs it up by saying, you are really not going to do this. You really think that we believe you, that you're going to slash us with an axe? I doubt that you'd be allowed to stay after that.
No, but I can make it very hard for you to leave.
You say this as the 8-year-old, who is 5'8" and muscular, by the name of Bashal. He sort of is he's a wolfkin, but he's head to toe red fur, like a ginger cat, but in a wolf body. He sort of stands awkwardly because he's not learned how to use his physique yet, but he's very clumsy in the same time, and even just trying not to move, he still awkwardly twitches and accidentally kicks the axe from out from underneath you. As he does so, Hrund, who is the 9-year-old, 1 year older than him, but still a little bit, scrawnier than him, he is one of them that I think you find a little bit of kinship with. He wants to learn to read, but can't yet. And he has been taking a great deal of interest in the books that you carry. He wants to know what the symbols mean. He wants to know how to read for himself. It seems like you have a great deal of enjoyment out of it. A great deal of time.
I'll read a story if you stay here just a little bit longer.
Oh, Grin, please. Please let Isabel read a story. Grin. Grin, you could do that thing. Okay. Grin scratches behind Hrund's ear. Clearly Hrund could scratch for himself, but he's just like, oh, you always get the right spot. And he's like, his paw starts to like clap against the ground as he like gets really into this being scratched beyond the ear malarkey. The three of them sort of gather around you. Bashal sort of slams his body into the ground as he falls over into a seated position. Hrund just sort of follows wherever Grin's scratching hand goes, and Grin reluctantly sits down where she is. Give me a performance check, please.
Okie dokie, I think I can do this.
A nat
God,
one.
dang it.
With a nat one, the very first nat one of the campaign.
Woo!
That's unfortunate. You start to read, but you come to realize that this is not the kind of this is not the version of the book that you're used to. So some of the wording gets off, and you start stumbling over some of the words, and they just lose interest 100%. The big one of them gets up and starts to leave.
Oh, no. You gotta stay here. It's dangerous out there.
I want to go outside.
But later, when the adults come back.
But they left. They went out this door. I want to go out.
They'll be back soon.
But I want to go out.
Stay here, please.
Okay, but I want to go out.
I know, and you could go out later, I promise.
But if I go out first, then I could go out, and then I could wait after.
I just mumbled to myself, kids.
Grin hears that and is like, I know, right? Kids. And pretends to not be hurt by your sentiment. As the big one tries to step out, the leader of the Howlers steps in and sees them about to leave. Thaddeus Luna, this wolfkin who is not particularly tall, this 5'4" person, has a grey streak of hair going down their back all the way to their tail. The streak continues all the way down it. He stands in the doorway. He may not be particularly tall, but he certainly has an intimidating presence with the scars that he has covering his muzzle all the way down his face, but one of his teeth stands bare at the front. He stands in the doorway. Where are you going? The 8-year-old is like, nowhere. I'm staying. We were reading a book. Book. Yes, book. And that's the end of your encounter.
Okay.
Now, we have one more flashback each. And we're not going to roll for it this time. We're going to go through them just in order. We've now been introduced to each of your characters. It's time that we made our way back to the campfire by finishing off all of these flashbacks for our lovely friend. Speaking of whom, he looks at each of you over the flames of this campfire at the end of that day, and he hears your flashbacks from the very first sort of stories as you've done them. And he remarks, well, it sounds like you've had an interesting time. I fail to see how this connects, though. And you each go into your second flashback each. Now then, we'll go in alphabetical order. Mars, Aldrin finds themselves at Dash, where you stand at this doorway in a small sort of what could be confused for like church sort of room, I guess. It's very difficult to really tell what this place is, besides the fact that it is just sort of a church room. You see over the doorway that there is it's an anonymous place, and you don't really know much more than that, but you do know that you were sent here by Merle. Do you go inside?
Do I see anybody outside?
No, you see that there's like a couple of people that are walking in and out. They're sort of, milling in and out, but not
It seems
a great deal of them.
An open place that can be gone into and left.
Yeah, the door is open. You see in through the door that there's like like solo cups kind of thing, but the fantasy level of solo cup, where there's like, you know, take one, please return it, honor system kind of thing for cups. And you see that there's some snacks out on the side of varying kinds. You know, everybody in a fantasy world eats different things. So there's like some like boiled brain that someone's put there. And there's some like cow tongue and, you know, that usual thing of just sort of like gristle. You wouldn't know why just to look at it, but perhaps if you asked inside, you might be able to find out.
Alright. Yeah, Aldrin would head inside, probably stick to the shadows, keep an eye on things, and then approach someone who seemed like they were intended to be there for helping.
Okie doke. So give me a stealth check, please.
Alright.
See how well you stick to the shadows.
Stealth.
With a stealth check of 6, you stumble into the door. The creaky hinge on the door alerts everybody in this room to your presence, and everybody turns around to look at you. You can see 5 people here. They're all stood in various heights with various skin colours. One of them is scaly and has like a forked tongue. Another person just looks like a human with darker skin. There's another person beside them who looks like they might be a part of the same family. And then further down at the very front, you see 2 people, one of whom has horns and a tail, and another person has claws on the one side that they fail to hide. They kind of try and keep their hand behind their back, but they keep gesticulating with the same hand, so it's always sort of on show. And they see you as you arrive, and the person with the claws points out, "Oh, a new person! Please, come in! Yes, please! Oh, I'm so excited! Yes! Oh, wonderful!" You go inside.
Yep.
Inside, you see Dash written everywhere. It's all over the walls. However, you also see what Dash stands for. Dash stands for Dragon's Anonymous Support Hangout. Everybody around you is like, "Oh, so you're a dragon. I'm a dragon as well." Well, we try not to make it very well known because people tend to hate us, and we don't. Yeah, we're never really painted very nicely in the stories, but yeah, we. Bryn, calm down, Bryn. Stop telling people how bad we are. Tell people nice things. Say hello to them. Oh yes, sorry. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, I'm not a whole dragon, I'm a half dragon.
Oh, we take all kinds here. I'm only a quarter dragon. The person with the claws holds their hand up.
I see. Well, I was
the sort of
sent
human
here.
person, they are fully sort of they just look like a regular person to you. But then after a moment, they just sort of like shrug, and they fully appear as a regular sized dragon. And you're just like, "Holy fuck!" And then they change back into human again. And yeah, you get a very quick look at a person's actual size. So yeah, you are surrounded by other dragons. And as you are surrounded by them, in through the door behind you walks Merle.
Oh. Huh. Hello.
Hello.
Didn't expect to see you again.
Well,
so soon.
I'll be honest. I've been coming here for decades.
Oh.
I've
That
always liked you,
explains a
Aldrin.
lot.
I've always liked you, Aldrin. I've always told Tiberius the child that is shunned by the village will burn it down just to feel its warmth. We can't just have you held at bay all of this time. And you are, in actual fact, a dragon, but not by your choice. You were born that way. We shouldn't be persecuting you. Tiberius, unfortunately, doesn't see it that way. He's had experiences with dragons, and, well, you know how they went. You remember that Tiberius has got one of his eyes is completely blanked white from a claw attack. You never really knew what happened to cause that. Now you know. now that Merle has just enlightened you.
Uh,
Merle mentions to you that whatever it is that you're seeking for your future, that perhaps you should take some time in consideration. But maybe there might be some sort of help that you might be able to find up north in a town called Dreedle. You know of the town, but you've not been. And you know that Merle suggests that you go to a shop of odds and ends. The person there, he's perhaps not the most savoury of characters, but he sells things and they work. Yes, they work.
Alright. And this fellow's in Dreedle. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that explains
I
a
forget his
lot.
name. Is it Rumpelstiltskin? No, Rumpelstiltskin. Rumpelstiltskin. That's it.
Rumpelstiltskin.
Yes. So he has a shop
Right.
in Dreedle where he sells odds and ends, and they're sort of magical things. Magical, yes. They might be able to help you. They either help you by helping, Curtis, or they help you by reinventing yourself, or they help you in other ways. I don't know. Maybe you just want to go and speak to Rumpelstiltskin. It is that, isn't it? Not Dumple. Yeah. Yes, maybe you just want to go and talk to Rumpelstiltskin. Perhaps there's something there that you might find. I don't know. Anyway, I heard in the town that there is a caravan of people heading north. I wouldn't want you to have to travel alone. Even a person of your very capable means, it's very dangerous, the road, and I would want you to stay safe in a group, especially at night. You can't
That's
travel
logical.
the whole time, and even when you go into your trances, and she like pokes a finger at your chest and then thinks twice about it. Sorry. Even when you go into your trances, you're still vulnerable. Eyes closed and not sleeping is still eyes closed. So yes, I thought that perhaps you could inquire as to this caravan that's heading north. So Tom somebody. Anyway, yes, thank you.
Rumpelstiltskin, Dreedle, Tom.
Yes,
All right.
that's the one. Anyway, take your time. Maybe speak to the people here. They might be able to help. She sort of heads over to the side, pours herself something that looks hot and black, necks it back, and turns to you, nods, and then excuses herself and excludes herself. And you are set on a path. You know what you can do now. You can speak to the people at Dash if you wish. You know what you can do later. You can go and find Tom. And you know what to do after that. You can head to Dreedle and find, perhaps, Rumpelstiltskin. What do you think you're going to do first off? Do you think you're going to stay here at Dash or go straight to find Tom? Dash off to find Tom.
I think Aldrin would hang about for a bit and ask around as to if anyone's had powers develop from their heritage.
Cool.
Because of the most recent development of their acidic claw.
Right.
And perhaps maybe they could get a little insight on how these things develop and how to manage
Cool.
such a thing.
So give me a persuasion check.
Persuasion.
With a dirty 20, yeah, you get a bunch of advice. They start sort of outpouring their stories to you. One of them talks about how they just owned a tower. It was a part of their heritage. They were given it in their inheritance from their grandfather. And this castle tower, some evil wizard just came along and threw some daft bint with some long hair in it. And suddenly this guy that you're talking to suddenly becomes the angry dragon that's keeping this person in a tower. And how dare they? And it's like, That's my tower. What are you doing in my tower? Why the fuck did you come along and throw this daft, person in my tower? Fuck off. Another person tells you about how they developed their fire breath at sort of teenage time for them. They sort of, whenever they got into a heated argument or debate, they would get very riled up, and the fire breath would make them snort smoke, and people started to bully them at their school because they were snorting the smoke. Eventually they got banned because people were worried about them torching the place. And they all give you varying stories about how their sort of powers and how their difficulties manifested in all different ways. The person with the single hand with claws is just sort of like, well, yeah, I've got some claws. Yeah. So that's your discussion with them. I assume that you go off and speak to Tom afterwards in the centre of town.
Yeah.
Lovely. For those who are watching the stream, this is Tom. And for those who are on Foundry, this is Tom.
Oh,
I love Tom.
Tom's adorable.
You recognise him as the man that's talking to you over the campfire. Now I think everybody starts to understand where their flashbacks are headed. If you didn't already realise, it's the person you've been speaking to the whole time. Next in our order, we have Ash. Ash, you have come to seek out this council member, and you have found a note on their desk saying that they have gone to Dash. The person who is at the reception desk mentions the same address, the same street that is written on that note in front of you, that is on the desk in front.
Okay.
Have you headed off to Dash, do you think?
Sure, I don't know what to expect, but yes. I'm very upset.
You go off to find the council member, but instead you find Aldrin.
Are you the council member I need to talk to?
I am not the council member. So
all
anybody
right,
needs to talk to. And the
Somebody
council.
is destroying my home, and I need to talk to somebody to get this to stop.
There
That's
you go.
rude.
Right?
Yeah, I would say so. I'm not certain quite who's the council member, but there's quite a few folks here. Did you have a name for them?
Yeah, sort of. They weren't here. Danik?
Yeah.
Aldrin
Oh!
kind of look around the room.
Danik Druffle,
oh.
you look towards the back
Yeah.
and Merle is still here. She's got her head underneath one of the faucets of this hot black liquid and is just pouring it straight into her mouth.
Well, do you know them?
Oh yeah. Sorry. I just really love this stuff. We don't really get it back in the marshes, do we? Sorry about that. Well. Look. Yes. There's certainly a person by that name. He doesn't really hang out a lot. Look. He sometimes comes. He sometimes doesn't, and as they say that, someone walks in through the door, and Merle points at him and goes, "Oh, Danik, yes, you."
Oh,
Just
so
like
you're
you
the one I
found.
need to talk to.
What?
I was told that I needed to talk to you because people are destroying my home.
Why? Why
They're
me?
digging up my trees. They told me to speak with you.
Oh, trees, schmees.
No, it's my home. It's not trees, schmees. What is this lingo?
Well, what do you want?
Them to stop?
Well, but
That sounds fair.
I have a counter offer. What if they don't?
But it's my home. What would you think if I came and destroyed your home?
Do you own it?
And I live there. Nobody can own land.
Well, I think that the fact that this city exists where it does and people own businesses and homes here would probably disagree with you.
Did they build the land? No, the land was there before them. Nobody can own it, and I happen to live there.
Look, I
Don't they
will.
already live there, so don't they own it?
I would have to look at the city bylaws. Look,
They would own it. They live there.
how about this? I will tell them
They were there
to.
first.
I will tell the workers to stop. We will stop and postpone for the standard time with the city council is a month. So I'll tell them to stop for a month. But yes, we'll need to straighten this out with the bylaws and the in-laws and the hard laws and all of
I
that.
was a fledgling.
Well,
you don't come into somebody's home and start destroying it.
Well,
That makes no sense.
my childhood home was bought and destroyed. I'm very sympathetic to you, but at the same time, I'm not. Look, I'll give you. How's 3 months? Does 3 months work for you?
I 3 months to find a new home that I've lived in for my entire life.
That's
not really fair.
3 months to find whether we need to do it in the first place at all. Maybe we could find somewhere else. It's 3 months to find
No tree
the
chopping
laws.
for 3 months.
Yes, nothing
Why
to
are you
do
doing
at
it in
all
the
for 3
first
months.
place?
Oh, it was some
Good
permit put in by you know, Curly.
Who?
Curly?
Curly.
I don't know a Curly.
So you would know of the business that Curly owns and runs. The business is it's a construction company, which goes by the name. Hang on, give me a sec. I've got it in my notes here, and I've got to find it now. I did call it something. I think it's Seven Strand Construction Company. Pretty sure that's it, but I'll have to find it. But yeah, Seven Strand Construction Company. So Curly is he is a pig folk. Curly is Sir Curly. He's one of the fabled Three Little Pigs. He is the surviving brother. He inherited his business off of them. He's been in the public eye because of the big bad wolf and all of the things that he managed to escape and get away with, or rather escape with. And yeah, he managed to escape with the family business. His family business is construction, part of which they send bricks to certain places, part of which they send wood to certain places. It's just what they do. And cutting down trees is business. So that's what you know. You know that Curly is a business magnate. He's in big business, and he is the head, like the CEO and owner of a large construction company.
Okay, so they know what it's like to lose their home. Gotcha.
What you do know is that Curly was last seen and was reported to have been headed up towards Dreedle. But for the time being, you could head back over to your, the plot that you're at, or you could stay here with Aldrin and discuss the fact that he's up at Dreedle.
Well, I mean, who's gonna tell these people to stop? Like, I need this in writing, right?
Oh, Merle, would you please go tell them to stop? Oh, yes. She's covered in this black, hot liquid now. Fully just emptied the entire thing. Oh, Merle, yes, very good. I can see you over there drinking all of our coffee. Thank you. Do we have the stash on the side? Oh, yes, we do still have the stash on the side. Oh, very good. Okay, you fill your boots, Merle, but please, no more. Okay, thank you. And Merle heads off in the direction of the forest to tell the workers to stop.
We don't get that drink back home.
Oh, honestly, dear, you probably don't want it, she says as she walks out. It's ruined my life. I love it here, but it does terrible things to my bladder. She walks off in the direction of the forest. And she, you would know Aldrin. She is a trustworthy person. She can be trusted to go off and speak to people and to make it known what's happening. She is also the elder councilwoman of a very close by village that the people of Ironfront would know the name of. There's not going to be any issue here. She'll be able to stop them, and she'll be able to stop them for a few months. And who knows, with her coffee levels skyrocketing, perhaps she'll do even better at her check. What do you think Ash does?
I feel like Aldrin is a understanding type of person, and they know that my home shouldn't be torn down, so I think I'm going to become their friend, obviously.
Nice. And Aldrin, you know that there is a person in the city centre who is headed to Dreedle. Perhaps Ash might be able to head up there with you and speak to this, Sir Curly.
Oh, it's Sir Curly now.
Sir. It was. It's Sir. S-E-R Curly. Sir Curly. And the two of you are fast friends. We move on now to Briar again. Briar, you've returned from gathering supplies. You see that one of the two people in the alleyway, the more sick person, is dead. He's lying in the gutter, not breathing. He's pale and clammy. He doesn't move when you approach, and his friend has gone. His friend, however, has left a note and put the silver piece on top of it. The note reads, my name was Brent. Danger in the north. Don't go without help. He has tried to leave this as a warning to any passerby. But you see that as you get there.
Oh man. I wish I could have done more to help. I was so young. This makes me want to check out the north even more, though.
You return home with your supplies. You see Rowena, your mother, who has just returned back. You know that she's more sort of fast and loose with the rules. She's not as stoic as your father, and he's not here. You don't see him in the doorway. You don't see him in the house or any evidence of his shoes being dropped off.
Mom, the north. What do you know?
What do I know?
I need to go. I need to check it out.
What do you mean, what do I know? I know a lot about the north. What do you want to know?
What's going on? There seems to be this terrible sickness.
What was it like? What sickness?
This, red gash. And there's just doesn't seem to be a cure for it. And
I mean, look, a lot of gashes are red. That's blood. That's just blood that you saw, dearie. It's fine. It's just blood. What you saw was a cut.
No,
someone probably just got stabbed or something.
No, it's not just blood.
What of it then? What was special about this red?
It was spreading like red veins, not blood.
Her eyes glaze over. She gets a fixed gaze into the far distance. Her mouth just sort of drops, and her skin goes pale, ghostly white. Where?
What is it? What is it?
Where? What? Where? Briar. She holds your hand, and you can feel that her hand is clammy to the touch, even through your gloves. What? Where? What? Who? What? What? You should stay. You should stay. Yes, you don't need to be there. No. Come here. She wraps you in tight for a hug, and you can feel that her breathing is shallow on your neck.
We have to find something to help people, or so many more people are gonna die.
And how do we help them from this? How do we help them from him? I mean, this. This.
From him?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. You didn't hear me say that. I did not say that. No. 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 No.
What's so bad that you can't even talk to me, Mom?
I
You can always talk to me.
look. I. Give me a persuasion check and give it with advantage because she's clearly very affected by this. And with advantage, that was a nat 1 on the first. And that's only a 7 on the second. Okay. Back to old Katie then. You can tell that she knows more than she's letting on. You just couldn't tell how or why. She seems to know more than she's telling you, and she's not giving it away without a fight. What she does say is that there is definitely trouble in the north, and that it would be in your best interests to stay away from it. But being the not very stoic person that she is, she's also not of the kind to say, stay here, you're not allowed to go. She sort of nods in agreement after, about half an hour and just is like, okay, I understand. If you want to go, you can go, but please, please, please be safe. Go with company.
I'll try to find other people, but it's our duty as clerics. We have to find something. We have to find a way. Help people, or a cure, or
Briar,
support these people.
do you find what we do good?
Yeah,
Do you think we help people?
of course.
Do you find what we do holy?
In some ways.
When you go north, if you ever hear of a person who's goes by the name the Holy Man, you turn and run, and you come back here as fast as you can. There is some holy spirits, there are some holiness in this world that is altogether unholy, and I would not have my daughter go near it.
But what if it means helping lots of people?
What he brings is not help. And she brings you in close, tight for a hug. She says, if you're going to go, go now. Your father is due home in the next couple of minutes. I saw in town that there was a caravan of people headed north. Perhaps go and speak with them.
Okay.
Take whatever you can. Be
I'll
quick, though.
Squeeze her tight.
Gather it quickly. Your father is home now. And with that,
Okay.
we move on to
Do my
our
best.
next flashback. Shen, we're back with Isabel. Thaddeus has returned, this 5'4" scarred howler. He sees exactly what you have been doing. Trying to do, rather, yeah. He hears, he wants to mention to you something in private, though. He brings you off to one side to speak to you about something.
Okay.
Look, the footpads we hunted, we had food, we could catch it. We can't do that here. This concrete jungle is very different to the kind that we knew. We want to be self-sufficient, you know that.
Of course.
We can't be. There's fewer and fewer animals now that they're starting to get more and more careful around these parts. And, I've heard tales of a person up north that you could do us a favour by speaking to. He's good. He's very good. He's great, in fact. He's one of the best. he can bring in animals like nothing. We could have a steady supply of food. All you need to do is actually go and find him, though.
Is he legit?
I like to think he's on the level, yeah.
And I'll do it.
Okay. He goes by the name of Friedrich Ratzenberger.
Okay.
You'll find him in Driedel.
Okay. How does one get there?
That's for you to find out. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I only know where he is, and where he is Driedel.
So I'll go and inquire a way up north then.
Yeah, probably a good idea. Listen, be careful. It's dangerous. Please, be careful. I know that you're at odds sometimes with the young'uns, and I know that in their heart they do love you. But just please be careful. I've seen enough people die. I don't want to see you die as well.
I'll do my best, and I swing my axe just to be like, I'm not going to make it easy for anyone to hurt me.
That's
I
the
promise.
spirit, and he punches you square in the shoulder.
It stings a little bit, but I don't say anything.
Yeah, you don't let it show. Okay. You head out into the city. Give me a perception or an investigation check.
See which is better for me. I'll go for an investigation check.
Nice. 7.
Never
Unfortunately,
mind.
with an investigation check, you can't really see a great deal of what's going on. You have an idea that perhaps if you went up towards the centre of town, that you might have a better idea. This is sort of an abandoned building on the outskirts of a city where people are less likely to spot you. That's kind of why the Howlers are where they are. You have a feeling that if you went more into the centre, that you might be able to discover some more. You can either give me another investigation check, or you can give me a perception check now.
Do investigation again.
Cool.
Please, come on. Yay!
With a dirty 21 in the centre of town, yes, you are as aware of your surroundings as you've ever been. You are a capable fighter. You're by no means the best, but you are absolutely adept at judging your surroundings well in a given moment. And in this moment, you do that well. You look around, you spot that there is a man off in a sort of far cobbled area. He's an older man. He's got wrinkles on wrinkles on wrinkles. He has a grey beard and a traveller's hat and a big old scarf shielding his neck from the wind. He's stood with a couple of other people, and then you see 2 more people approach him as well. One an Aarakocra and one a smaller green-haired person.
I approached a man.
Hello?
Excuse me. Do you know how to get north? I need to get to.
Why, yes, my dear. You join with me. We are going north.
We?
Yes, there's a caravan of us. We came in from the south. We're all headed north.
Oh, if it's okay, I'll...
You also see Ash and Aldrin approach and ask the very same question. Oh, the more the merrier! Yes, of course. Yes, we'll have room for all of you. I should think. Yes.
Oh,
Oh, awesome.
Yes. Well,
Great.
I'll keep my frog
Shall
close.
we tally ho?
you tag along for a moment. I've still got some things to do in the city. I often try and help stragglers and people who are headed in certain directions. Well, we've got some more things that we need to gather, some provisions and supplies and things. I have a bit of a hankering for a candle myself, but don't tell the others. Anyway, I'll hang on for now. And he sort of stands there with his business. The rest of you, I guess, hang out in the city centre, while the others sort of wander off, and one sticks behind while the old man himself walks off as well. And yeah, we continue on. Our next flashback. Ruby, you have just awoken after having what a unusual conversation with a stranger. You've been asked where are your friends. You can head back inside the dairy. You can go wherever you want to. What would you like to do?
I think I'll head back inside the dairy, try and find Crimson. I feel like that's who my friend would be. So.
Mm-hmm. As you go inside, there's a distinct lack of crimson in the air.
Is there anyone there?
There's a place sort of further along. It's sort of the basement to this place. You remember that you and your sort of compatriots don't usually hang out in the plant part of it. You normally hang out sort of in the undercroft bits. So yeah, you can head inside. You can try and find Crimson a bit further on in the basement if you like.
Yeah, I want to head to the basement if that's where people tend to be.
Yeah, there's probably about 5 other people that are staying there alongside you at the moment. In the basement area. So yeah, you head over towards the basement. You see that they're not there, nor is Crimson.
Right.
What you do find,
I can't. Sorry.
It's sort of midday. It's just gone past midday into the afternoon. What you do find, though, is there is a note left on your bedroll.
Okay. I'll read the note.
There's a few words that you falter on. You don't really have the literacy skills of an English master, but or common in this world rather. But what you do have is a lot of sort of basic words, and some of those are right here. So yeah, there's a note saying that essentially Crimson has said that they've run out of jobs for you to do. The mercenary jobs. Because there's sort of more competition from a group called the Howlers in Ironfront. The note has asked for you to go and find out sort of if there's anything that they're interested in, whether they're interested in joining forces. But the note encourages you to go down and speak with them and sort of see whether there's something you might be able to help them out with. Do you head towards Ironfront?
I'm going to make out a massive sigh at not being able to get in my bedroll and then make my way to Ironfront.
Yeah, the tiredness is really starting to weigh on you, even with a nap. That nap was kind of interrupted in some ways by an unusual stranger.
Just a little catnap, really.
Just a little catnap. What's a little catnap between friends? You head out the door. You head down towards Ironfront and you find the Howlers. Crimson has seemingly pointed you in the vague direction of where they might be. But yeah, you find a building. And as you find this building, you see Isabel walking out of the door directly where you're stood. Where a wolfkin has just walked in. Do you speak with Isabel? Or do you go inside?
Yeah. Yes. I'll quickly sort of say, hello, excuse me. I'm trying to find the Howlers. Is it this building? Is this the right one to go to?
Isabel?
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Is this the building to go inside for the Howlers?
I don't. Sorry. I don't think so.
Okay. You don't happen to know anything about? I'm just basically trying to find the Howlers. Do you know anything about them? Just per chance.
Depends. What's your intentions?
Oh God, anything malicious? I genuinely just want to talk to them, really, and I guess I just want to see what they're about. Curiosity, really, if anything.
I
I
mean,
promise you there's no ill intent.
I can point the way, but you may want to be as try not to spook anybody as much as possible. I mean,
Spook?
there's a lot of dog and wolf people there, and you're a cat.
Give me an insight check, and Isabel, give me a deception check.
What do you have?
Where's it gone? I can spell.
Ruby gets a 7 on the insight. Isabel gets an 8 on the deception. Really low rolls today. Wow, what a way to start off a campaign. But Isabel is just deceptive enough to outdo it.
Look, we started strong. We can't keep strong.
I know, right? Ruby, you don't see through Isabel's sort of thinly veiled questioning. Isabel, you managed to persuade Ruby that you don't really know a great deal about the Howlers, but perhaps speaking with somebody about them might be worthwhile. Just being careful about it is the only advice. So yeah, Ruby, as you make word or say all of this out loud about the Howlers, a shortish, scarred-looking, greying Howler steps out of the door, or a wolfkin, and says, "Could we keep the voices down about that, please?"
Oh, I'm sorry.
We don't really want people to know that we're here. I'm Thaddeus. I'm a member of the Howlers. Isabel, you were headed off. Thank you. You can.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for your assistance. Sorry, what was your name?
Sorry, my name is Ruby. I didn't know this was where you were. I was passing after you really, and this lady didn't really seem to know much.
Right.
Apologies for that.
Oh, okay. Well, listen. What is it that you hope to get from these people that you speak of?
Get from anything? I wanted to really chat. I'm coming from a bit away. I just wanted to speak on behalf of my friends, really. I think there's potentially similar vein of interest. And,
He narrows his eyes and says, "We do have one thing. You seem..." He looks you up and down with narrowed eyes. "Capable? I wonder whether you wouldn't mind helping my friend out that you were just speaking with. She's headed north. We're trying to find a person by the name of Friedrich Ratzenberger. It's a dangerous road north. I wonder whether you wouldn't mind helping keep her safe."
I'm happy to keep her safe if she needs it.
We'll pay.
Is there anything you'll pay?
Just,
Okay.
Yeah, we'll pay. But only when she's back safe and sound.
Okay. On return.
Yeah, I've only just met you. I can't really trust you immediately to give you all of my money and you walk off, but I'll give you money when you get back. How's that?
I understand. Maybe we'll talk some more
Lovely.
when I'm back.
Lovely. And you head off in the same direction as Isabel. You meet the rest of the crowd. They're all sort of gathering. Tom has walked off. He's no longer with the group. He's sort of gathering his supplies in the candle shop, et al. And yeah, you've sort of managed to stumble your way among a bunch of other people that are all like-minded, headed in the same direction. And finally, we come to our last of our flashbacks. Victor, you head back into the city of Ironfront. You've spoken with the Ice Queen or the Snow Queen. You've got an agreement to have some level of bacon to arrive so that they can sort of trial it and see if people there like it. And if so, then they agree to have more. They haven't decided on price yet. I think that you probably wouldn't be the kind to offer a price, but to come back and inform the boss, so to speak. And as you get back, you, I assume, head back inside of Big Bad Bacon. You've been on the road now for multiple weeks. Your flashbacks have really spanned over like a 4-week period. As you head inside, is there anything that you do?
I would. I don't think so. I think people know who I am there, so I'll kind of politely say I'm not trying to like make a show of myself as I enter anywhere ever.
Yeah.
So
As
I'm
you
just gonna kind of anyone who looks at me, I'll nod like greeting, but go straight
Lovely.
towards the office. I think.
So as you head upstairs, do you knock on the door?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm just very simple. Knock.
On the second of the 3 knocks, the door swings open. It was not latched. And as you look inside, you see that Big Red's feet are sort of sticking out from behind the desk in their customary sleeping position.
Okay. I probably wouldn't take my sword to work. But instead, I reach into my coat and draw a dagger, and I'm gonna approach very, very, very cool.
Can we see Big Red again, please?
Can we see Big Red again? Yeah, for sure.
Sleeping. Sorry, there's no. Do I see? I'm gonna check the door as I go in actually, and see if the door looks as though it's unlocked or it's been forced open.
Give me either an investigation or a perception check. I'm happy to have either. That's Big Red.
Investigation. Yeah, rubbish.
Let's have a look. You got a 13. 13's okay. With a 13, you can see that there is some sort of there's some marks around the keyhole that you may not have noticed last time.
Right. Okay. But it doesn't look. There's no kind of sign of it being like smashed in. Cool.
Not smashed, no.
Okay, then I will very carefully approach.
Okay. You step inside. As you step inside, give me
do you want me to roll stealth?
Yeah, you can roll stealth.
Yeah, because I'm trying to be sneaky. So.
Oh, with a dirty 23, that's pretty sneaky. As you step inside, making not a sound upon this marble floor, I want you to give me a perception check.
Yeah,
That's really good as well. You do roll good, don't you?
Good. Okay.
With a dirty 19 on the perception check, with a 19, you see that there is there's like an incense stick that's burning inside. There's a half-drunk cup of coffee on a saucer on the table in the middle. The pillows have been sort of tossed a little bit from a person who may have been sleeping on them, may not have. There's a couple of books out of place. There's a lot that you do see and that you do smell and that you do hear. There is one very distinctive thing that you do not, and that is the sound of Big Red breathing.
Oh. Okay, then I'll sheath my dagger.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna approach her body to check for a pulse or something, very kind of slowly.
Okay. As you approach the desk slowly, you know that there is nobody here in the room. The seemingly the incense burning is the only thing in the room that is still burning. The lanterns have gone out as they've not been ignited or refueled. The candle and lantern on the desk have both gone out as well, burned down to the nubs. And as you approach around the side of the desk, you see that Big Red is lying on the floor, sans head. The head is missing. The headless body of Big Red lies on the floor, on the carpet behind their desk. There is an incredible pool of blood, and there is a note on the body in like a small scrap of paper.
Okay, I will.
Honouring the perception check that you got earlier.
Sorry. Sorry, say that again. Sorry, cut off.
I was just honouring the perception check that you got earlier,
Okay.
the 19,
Cool.
For that scrap of paper.
Cool. Okay, then I will curse under my breath first of all, and then again slowly, very carefully, not trying to disturb the body or leave any kind of marks of myself on it. I'm going to pluck the piece of paper from the chest.
Okay. It's sort of half stuck to their chest with some of the blood on the backside of it that's sort of already dried into a residue. As you pull it off, you see that it has just 2 words that are still visible on this scrap that has been clearly burned, like somebody set fire to this and left it here. But it didn't fully burn, as they must have left in a hurry with somebody's head. The 2 words that you see read, "Falls unclean."
What was the first word, sorry?
Falls. Falls. Falls.
Okay. Does the cut where the head's been taken off, does it look clean?
No.
No, so it's like a rough cut.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that you're behind the counter, well, I say counter, it's more of the desk, isn't it? You can give me another investigation check if you would like.
Desk, yeah. Sure.
Maybe even a medicine check if you so wish. Ooh, with a dirty 20 investigation check. Look at that.
Okay.
And do you
All right,
wish to
save
do
some
a
good rolls
medicine?
for the rest of us.
Do you want
Is-
medicine as well?
Listen, Steve told me when we were before even session 0
Oh,
that
okay.
he gets insane high rolls. He's just lucky like that. He's been blessed by Dice Christ. So yeah, it's up to you whether you want to do the medicine check.
Okay. Let's do both because I'll probably be bad at the medicine check as well.
A nat 20
shit.
medicine check. Okay.
I'll be bad
oh,
at a
shit,
medicine
okay.
check.
Okay.
I'm
So
gonna do that on
with a
purpose.
dirty 20 investigation check and a nat 20 medicine check, there's a lot that you get from this. You for a start, you notice that it looks like this body has been dismembered after a lot of magic was used to kill them. For some reason, though, the dismemberment was not particularly skillful or quick. It looks like it was done sort of hastily, and it looks like it was done with no implement that you see here. However, in your investigation, you do see that there is a sort of door to a cupboard that is normally locked that has been sort of unlocked and is sort of hanging open a little bit on the side of their desk. As you take a look inside, you see that there are gifts and trophies and sort of lots and lots of things that would be commonplace in a business person's office or study. Like pens and quills and letter openers and the kind of thing that you could imagine somebody of Big Red standing using on a day-by-day basis. What you see in this cupboard is a massive pile of all of those things, and every single one of them silver. All of them untouched.
Okay. I'm not going to disturb any. Does it look as though there's an obvious space for like something missing, perhaps, or
Yes.
like a gap?
Yeah, it looks like it's kind of one of those hoards that looks like it's just been thrown together, but that there was something holding it all in. Now that it is no longer there, this whatever it was, it's now sort of everything's starting to spill out and sort of empty out onto the rug. As this all happens, though, there is a terrible sound, and you hear people from below on the workshop floor shouting, "Hey, what's going on up there?"
I run to the door. I'm not gonna try and like sneak out because that's dumb. I think I run to the door and I shout, "Help! Help! There's been a murder!"
Okay. The coming events will take place over a couple of hours, so we're going to skip through all of that. Essentially, what happens is the chief of the city guard appears. This person is a man by the name of Lyndon Powell. Lyndon sees this as being a big thing. It's a very important event, but it's also something that might make his career. So, you and your investigative prowess would easily be able to tell the air of somebody who only cares so much. In his questioning of you, he dismisses you, but he says that he might need you for further questions later, since you, it seems, disturbed the crime scene. He's also, however, said you hear him sort of mumble under his breath to one of the others, not in your direction, but you catch wind of it, that maybe there's only one person who could answer what those two words mean, and it's certainly not somebody in the city guards, and that's Merlin. And the last time that Merlin was seen was up north near Dreedle. So yeah, you are, it seems, if you wish to go in that chain of evidence, headed towards Dreedle. For the time being, you're told that this business is going to be closed down temporarily, since there is no longer an active boss, and the whole place is a crime scene. It's not like you can sell bacon out of a crime scene. So yeah, you are now headed on one path if you choose to take it.
I'm sure I think I'd probably pop back to like my little room, just a simple room, and just kind of clean up a little bit, like just give my head a wobble, as it were, just to kind of reset all my nerves, and then just pack a few supplies and head out. Yeah.
Great. As you head out of the door, you see a group of travellers starting to assemble in the city, right in the centre. You see that there is a caravan about to set off north, and they welcome you as one of the members who might just be able to help keep them all safe.
Be happy to do that.
And you are all now gathered together at the campfire. The sun has grown low in the sky. There is a cool breeze in the air. You see that there are tumbling autumn leaves falling from the trees where you all sit. You are now at a campsite where you are sat around a campfire together. There are two people by the name of Hilda and Fig who have they are they are mages who have used their abilities to create Leomund's tiny huts, enough to keep all of you safe within, so that nobody on the outside might be able to attack within. They're opaque, they are magical, they last for 8 hours, and you are able to have a long rest there. Ruby, I think that you in particular would very much like to sleep now, please. But yeah,
Doesn't
old
take me
Tom
long.
is
I'm
sat
straight
there at
asleep.
the campfire and is asking you all of your stories, and each of you say what you want to say and do what you want to do, and then I guess you all head to bed. Is that correct?
Yeah, that seems about right.
I think I'd probably kind of take first watch.
Okay.
Just sit up because I'm running a lot of things over in my mind, so I'm gonna sit, and he sits and kind of toys with a coin.
Yeah.
And in the dirt in front of him, he's written "falls unclean" with the tip of a dagger.
Nice.
And he's kind of just sat playing with a coin, with his back to like the fire, just keeping an eye out.
Okay.
I mean, he feels relatively safe, but he can't sleep. He's a little restless.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
I
Give me
am
a
going-
perception check, Victor. And yes, Ash, you were just saying something.
yeah, I was gonna say that I'm not gonna sleep just yet, and I wanted to see if I could see what they wrote in the dirt.
Okay, cool. Does Victor sort of hide this at all?
He's just written it in the dirt. I don't think he'd be too worried that anybody would see it. Like, he's not
Yeah.
scared of anybody if they're. I think the idea was that he's going to write it in the dirt, and if anyone notices it and looks a bit shifty, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a bit of a test to see if anybody knows what it means without outright asking.
Right. I see. I understand. Tom retires to his caravan. He climbs inside. For the Learman's tiny hut to stay active, the mages need to stay inside of those. If they leave, then they dissipate. So they're going to stay in each one. The rest of you can assemble inside, I guess. There's enough room for plenty of people within each tent. The campfire will stay lit until somebody stops stoking it. We get deep into night time, and there's no real light around unless the embers are continually stoked by Victor. Victor, you are after sort of halfway through the night. Tom pokes his head out and reminds you, you know, we're going off in the early morning. We do need a lot of ground to cover. If you're going to rest, you should probably rest.
I look and I nod. Yes. I should try and get some sleep.
Take it from someone who's tried for many years. If you try and sleep on the journey, you probably will fail at that. It's not very comfortable sleeping on a moving wagon.
I leave the letters written in the dirt, and I go to my my sleeping roll or however we're set up
Yeah.
for that. And just get my head down and try.
Nice. Is there anything anybody else is doing, or you're all going down for your long rest?
I can imagine that Jen is. Old campaign. Isabel is reading her book as much as possible until she falls asleep and the book falls on top of you, kind of like if you're reading in bed or something, it just falls on your face.
Nice. Aldrin?
Aldrin's gonna check on the frogs, feed
Nice.
them, and then head to rest.
You're Aladrin, aren't you? So you trance for 4 hours.
Yeah.
You are aware of your surroundings, but you're not like, it's a trance, so you're not. It's not like your eyes open wide awake. So give me
super alert, but
yeah. Give me a perception check, Aldrin.
Alrighty. Perception.
Yeah.
Sorry. Tiny words.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Ruby, are you just straight off to sleep?
Not straight off. So without trying to make it dead obvious to Isabel, I'm going to try and be in the same place that she is, and sort of when I realise she's nodded off in her book, then I will allow myself to fall asleep. But I have been fighting to stay awake.
Yeah. So it's especially hard when cats cats not tabaxi, but cats in general sleep for 18 hours a day, which is crazy. Okay, and Briar. Anything that you're doing in particular?
I'm just a little beside myself with what happened in the alley. And I'm just kind of focused on trying to keep focused on the task at hand and getting north to Dreidel and making sure I'm looking out for the holy man.
Yes, very much. Okay. The day turns to night. The lights dwindle out, you each feel the warm rest of sleep take you, or in Aldrin's case, trance. And probably about halfway through the night, maybe about 5 or 6 hours in, while each of you are at your deepest lull, you open your eyes and realize that the tents are gone, the caravan is gone, and so is all of your gold. And with that, we're going to end the session. Thank you very much, everybody. That was lovely.
My book's still here, isn't it?
The book's still there.
Oh, good.
And the frogs here?
All right.
Frogs are there.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've noticed much difference.
None of us are quite hungry.
I rolled a stealth check and a sleight of hand check. They were using what's it called? Greater image, and they were deceiving and trying to steal all of your shit while you were asleep. Yeah, so it's all gone,
This is all
and they're gone.
Wow.
Now you are hours away. You've travelled hours away north up a trail away from Ironfront, so you can't immediately go back there. You are without gold. You are without safety. You are without travel, and you now have to find your way wherever you want to go, whether north or east or south or west. And you've got time to do it, but you're probably going to have to move together in a pack. And if you need stuff, you'll have to find a way to make gold. But that's that. Thank you very much, everybody. That was lovely.
Why don't we
Yeah,
people?
that was great.
Yeah, I was going to say, did everybody enjoy that? Was that all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. A couple of your accents caught me off, which is great.
I was trying so many different accents and trying to keep them right in my head. And I was like writing down in the notes, like, this person has this accent.
I had to mute myself when you were doing the French guys because it had me in stitches.
Yeah. Hey, maybe get that out of the air and fuck off. Yeah. My personal favourite is the Scottish one for the stranger with Ruby.
Yeah,
I've been practicing
that
that
did
one.
catch me off guard. I was like, oh,
You threw me off
okay.
with
I've
Cockney
now...
for.
Yeah, the Cockney is one that I just naturally lapse into when it's D&D.
I do that, and I was going to do that.
Cockney's everybody in a fantasy genre, innit?
Oh, yeah. But because you did it for Big Red, it really threw me off mine.
Yeah. I mean, look, more than one person can have a Cockney accent. That's the whole point.
I know. It just like my brain was just.
It's like B was saying, like either yesterday or the day before, where you asked, like, is there a specific accent that comes at the like Red Wall Mountains? And I'm like, hey, people live all over with all different accents. You can have whatever accent you want. It doesn't make any difference.
I mean,
I was kind of just waiting for you to be like, oh yeah, this accent, and I'm like, I guess I've now got to bring out a Brummy accent. So they're all right.
All right, mate. All right, mate.
I ask because I was a centaur once, and I had an adopted dragon son.
Nice.
And the Dragonborn son decided that he was going to be Steve Irwin by now. We all had to have
Thank you, everybody.
accents,
I'm very glad that was great.
Thank you for setting me up for the rest
and thanks
of the
for
campaign.
the subs as well, Lucy. That was crazy. Yeah, I mean, I tried my absolute best to do the accents, but I kept on doing old Tom's in a different way, and I could never remember what the fuck I've made his accent to be. It was like, it's supposed to be old man neutral English. That's what I wrote in the notes, and I'm like, what the fuck is neutral? What is a neutral English accent? What does that even mean? So I was like, fuck. And then I started doing Briar's mum Rowena's accent American, and then I immediately lapsed into English, and I was just like, maybe she's just having maybe when you have a crisis of faith, you suddenly turn English. Maybe that's what happens when you become scared.
Like, move somewhere sometimes.
It's like Jason Statham.
Yeah.
You drink too much.
Hey, you, get out of my pub. I'll fuck you up. I'm gonna stab you with this sword.
That's not very nice.
Yeah, I mean, look, I try and make it as interesting as possible. We had what did we have for the giants in the last campaign? We had like, I don't like doing this anymore. I don't want to play with the dragon anymore. Yeah, you got to have a bit of fun. It's a lot. It's so funny sometimes to do the accent.
Mm.
Well, thank
Just
you
got the full
everybody
on
for
commit.
being here. I'm gonna still hang around in stream and in chat to talk about this. If anybody feels you need to leave, as we've gone on by an extra like half an hour, then please don't feel obliged to stay. But if you do want to stay and talk for the next sort of 10 minutes, then I'm gonna hang around. After that, I'm gonna head off.
I'll be back.
Mm.
You'll be
I
back.
have to go.
Lovely.
I have to go and pick
Oh.
up a grumpy girl some McDonald's, so I will have to depart.
Nice.
But it's been a
well,
pleasure. I will see.
uh,
I'll speak to you all later.
I'm glad that you enjoyed, and I hope that the grump enjoys the McDonald's. So enjoyment can be had by all.
Yes.
I'll
Yeah,
think
cool.
I'll go
Thanks
as
very
well.
much, man.
Yeah, man, no worries.
And I will see you all next week.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Same time, same stream, same place. Yeah. D&D session 2, and then we decide where you all go. And yeah, I've planned out already. Like if you choose to go north, east, south, or west, I've got stuff planned out. So I've got maps made, and there'll be battle maps and stuff, and all of
Amazing.
that jazz.
Bye.
So yeah, if you want to go, then you can.
Yeah, see you later.
Don't feel the need to stay. Bye.
Bye.
I'll go as well. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, see you
And thanks for
later.
session. Bye.
Yeah, this was super fun, dude.
It was going to be a different kind of a format to a normal campaign session, you know, where it's like everybody speaking and everybody collaborating all at the same time. I just couldn't do it this way on the first session because I needed everybody to like have their own little private reasons for why they were going to places. But yeah, you're all going to Dreidel, so yeah. My previous two campaigns I had
dreidel.
That's
for
fine.
The rest of eternity. So
kind of
I'll
one
have
of the
like
reasons why I picked that name, because it sounds so similar to a name people already know.
Did you see all the notes that I posted in the main dungeon chat?
In chat, no.
In the main dungeon chat, I was like, I'm taking notes, and my notes are fantastic.
Oh, where do you mean? In the
in the main dungeon chat.
Oh, what general D&D stuff?
Right here, I tagged.
Oh, the text chat for that, right? I see. No, I didn't have that up. I had to keep OBS up because I had a bunch of different artworks that I had to show people for the characters, and then I had to have the Word document on one half of my screen on the other monitor, and then Foundry up on the other half of my screen on the same monitor. So I just didn't have this screen space. It's the kind of thing I would have if I had 3 monitors again, but I don't have the money for that right now. There's a lot of notes though.
But yeah, no, I just Victor, Big Bad Bacon, Big Red naps on the floor or naps on the job, murdered, no head.
Yeah, murdered, like, no head. Yeah, you don't fall asleep and lose your head at the same time. That doesn't happen.
I liked the Frederick Ratzenberger for Isabel gives meatsies.
Yeah, Friedrich Ratzenberger, yeah.
The Holy Man, Briar Run.
Briar Run, yeah.
The important things.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So so what I've done is I've made a bunch of different I've made a bunch of different scenarios, and a bunch of different like villains and good guys and organizations and shit like that. And basically, no matter what you choose to do, they're all going to be happening in the background. And if you decide that you're going to act on one of them, well, guess what? There's like 10 others that are getting much worse while you don't deal with them. So it's essentially like a choose your own adventure. And no matter what you start with, it's going to be a villain at the start of their journey. But the more you leave the others, the more on their journey they're going to get. So it'll scale with you, essentially. So eventually, like, you'll end up doing the big bad for another place, and they will have had so much time to get prepared for whatever their big bad evil plan is that they're going to do elsewhere. You know, you'll be ready for them.
You're still streaming, right?
No, I know that I'm streaming.
Okay.
I was saying I'm going to stay in stream for another 10 minutes, and then I'm going to go.
I thought you meant in the voice chat.
No, stream and voice chat.
Oh, well, fancy.
I know, right?
I
Also,
just rated out. I was like, deuces.
Seribot did a great job of
Right?
banning a bot immediately.
Yeah,
I
I
fucking love
saw
Seribot.
that.
Badass Sari bot.
Fucking love Seribot. Seribot's amazing. Hello. Hello. Yeah. So, yeah, that was the La campaign. Session 1. Here's a bit of lo-fi girl. So shall we find somebody to raid out to, do you think?
I can tell you who I rated.
Go for it.
I rated _lore right. Here, I'll just link them. In your Twitch chat.
Oh, I would have spelt that wrong. I'm glad that you have corrected me. Alright then. So we're going to start raiding out to this person. I hope that everybody has enjoyed themselves. I hope that people... I hope that all of you decide that you like the stream and that you may come back. I would very much enjoy it if you did. Because I would really enjoy it if we continued this. I've had a lot of fun, and although my nerves at the very beginning for that whole opening monologue really did get the better of me, I think I managed to muscle through it okay. So let's... Thank you. Well, let's head off. I'm glad that everybody likes the fact that I'm a beholder, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And yeah, we're gonna move this on to the lore right, based on Tat's recommendation. Say hello to everybody there. Do you know what? I haven't even come up with a raid message. We should come up with a raid message, shouldn't we?
I just rated out. I was like, I'm going.
Let me come up with one. We've got to use some of our stuff.
What about clickety clackety roll for attackity?
I've already come up with one, but we
Oh.
could do that. The jackals are
No,
invading. So yeah, give that a
my
copy and
God,
paste.
Maybe the real raiders are the friends we made along the way.
Oh, yeah. We could
All
spam
right.
that, couldn't we? That would be everybody
Yeah.
saying exactly the same thing. Oh, that's the best. Yeah. I feel like we need to do that. I also don't remember which of these is sub only and which one is for everybody. Do you know what? We'll just do it without. I'll say what you want to say. You can put whatever message you want to put in the chat. But otherwise, I'll try and figure one out for next time. It requires far more looking into the settings than I really care to do at the moment. I'm wiped out. So let's instead just enjoy a lovely raid into apparently lovely person's stream. So let me start that bad boy off. Thank you everybody for being here. Thanks for being awesome. I will see you on the flip side. Bye.
Bye.
Did that raid?
Yes.
Nice. I don't see it on my side.
Yeah, it likes to not.
Lovely.
Because it a bitch like that.
Let's end the recording.